My names are Honorable Dr. Bategeka Lawrence, previously a Member of Parliament for Hoima Municipality. I'm here to tell my journey. Uganda obtained independence in 1962. Now we are 60 years old. So I'm here to actually tell my journey, how I have seen it all. I was already an adult. I was already born when Uganda attained independence. I was born in May 1955. So I'm 67 years old. I hail from Hoima, born to my father passed away in 1989. My mother is still alive at about 92 years. So I was born to peasant parents, eking a living from agriculture. And now I worked all my way to become one of the respected economists this country has had, having worked in various places, including the Central Bank, the Ministry of Finance, the international community in the United Nations Development Program, and taught in many places. I'm an educationist. I hold a master's degree in education from the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom. I hold a PhD degree from the University of the Commonwealth. I also hold various higher degrees in economics. I worked for the Central Bank. I worked for Makerere University Economic Policy Research Center, where that was my last duty station. I was in Parliament. I was the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on National Economy. And I'm also a farmer. I run Mandela Secondary School in Hoima. I'm the proprietor. I run Glory Summit Hotel in Hoima. I'm the proprietor. I do what I would call large-scale farming, growing sugarcane, growing coffee, rearing livestock, and also planting trees at large scale. So in brief, that is what I am. I'm widely traveled in this world. In this world, I've been to all continents except Australia. I've been to Argentina, I've been to Canada and North America. I studied in the UK. I've been there very many times. Europe, France, Belgium, Far East, in China, India, Lebanon, in Africa, to many, almost all English-speaking countries and a few French-speaking countries, majorly when I was doing research. So I kept one leg in academia, and one leg in business. But finally, I'm concentrating more on my businesses. In Hoima, particularly the hotel, Glory Summit Hotel, a 3- or 4-star hotel in Hoima, the only one I think with a lift in Western region. And the Mandela Secondary School, Hoima, which is one of the top secondary schools this country has, private secondary schools that the country has. We are top because we always ranked among the top schools. When I say we, I'm talking about Mandela Secondary School. Mandela Secondary School is now 25 years old, started in 1997, and it is now one of the top schools. From that time, I was still working for the UNDP as an assistant resident representative stroke national economist. Before later in the UNDP, I was posted to Nairobi as a senior economist for the UNDP Somalia country office. and I was managing the school where I was even a distance away. So this school has passed through phases, and I plowed all my earnings from all those sources to serving mankind, to building this school. That is the far the school has come from. The hotel, Glory Summit Hotel, opened doors in September 2014. We celebrated 7 years of its existence last year. We were honored, the occasion of celebration was honored by the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Right Honorable Robina Nabanja. So it's a very big, key achievement in my view. And maybe the other one I should have said as a key achievement is I'm a family man. Yes. I'm a family man, I'm married, and I've been with my wife, Angela, for a long period of time. God has blessed us with children who are highly educated, some of them with PhDs, and some of them are running businesses with me. So that is another key achievement. So that's where we have come from, building from small beginning, small starting. You know, there is a thinking that to do anything, you start big. No, you really start small. Mandela CS started small with about 100 students, with very low fees of about 37,000 shillings per term. Today it's a big school with 2,000 students. It's over 2,000 students, and a large staff of over 200 teaching and non-teaching staff, with a wage bill of about 140 million per month. Yes, it's huge. And we started really small. Even the hotel, it was little steps. Little steps take you far. So it is not that you have to begin with very huge steps. But all this was because of a conducive policy environment, which allowed us to operate in the private sector, thanks to, you know, free market economy policies, which allowed us, and we pray that those policies are kept in vogue where the private sector is allowed to operate. Because I fundamentally believe that markets are key to, free markets are key to enabling poor people get out of poverty, to enabling them get the highest level of achievement. And they were good policies, and we look forward to actually entrenching them into our system and mitigating the adverse effects where it is necessary, social effects. So these free market policies came into vogue basically from the beginning of the early 1990s. So the good policy environment kept my businesses growing. Of course, there are challenges that there is now policy reversal. Free markets not having the space they enjoyed in the early days. It's no longer an invisible hand, as we call it in economics. But now we now see visible hands in choosing who the winners shall be. And that is a key challenge, which we hope can be addressed to make the playing field level. Make the playing field level. It's a key challenge. I am what I am because God made me different. When I was at school, I was enjoying my studies. I always enjoyed them. I didn't fear exams. I always passed the examinations. All through, I was top notch. Although I didn't become a CEO of anything, but I was used to being the winner. Well, at Makerere, at primary school, at secondary school. So winning was a God-given, I call it a gift to me. So, and the sky, you can see Mandela CS started as small thing, but today it is a top school, and you cannot get us from there because I'm used to winning. Glory Summit Hotel is the best hotel in the region, Western region, I think. You may not be able to get us from there. That's what we are. Nothing is good enough except the best. So it's a God-given business, and that's why I say allow people's gifts, people's talents to be developed to the full. And I thank the President of the Republic of Uganda for allowing us that freedom, especially during the 1990s and the early 2000s. But as I said, let us not backtrack because we can lose the good that we have achieved during these 3 decades. It has been great because I never imagined myself from a humble background. Now owning a school the size of Mandela SES, Hoima, or owning Glory Summit Hotel and all these range of businesses I've talked about. The only challenge there is now, some of us had that indigenous education. We were brought up to love wealth, develop a homestead. These days everything is surrounded around money, and people get lost away from wealth, real wealth, to just money. Of course, it is now known that in 2006, Uganda discovered oil, and it's a long time. We should have developed it by now, but the politics surrounding oil is a huge thing. You can do it very fast and lose. You have to be very slow and sure. And then there is also political interference on this matter. But I can tell you, Bunyoro generally was fortunate that oil was discovered in that place. Because during the colonial times, the place was left, was condemned to no development, if at all, with very little public investments, poor infrastructure, poor education, little tourism, if any. Whenever we would argue for improved roads, we would be told to prove that those roads people will pass through them. That it was not necessary to construct roads in Bunyoro. But God had kept us a resource, a very important resource. And this resource was discovered in 2006, not only in the Bunyoro, but now we call it the Albertine region. But the epicenter was in Hoima district and Kikube district. Today Kikube is a district that was cut out of Hoima. The oil deposits continue up north through Moya district, which is across the Nile in northern Uganda, and some parts of Nebia and Apache. Generally, the Rift Valley, following the Nile path up to Nimri as you enter Sudan through Eregu. All that part is being explored for oil, but the epicenter is Hoima or Bunyoro generally. Now, because of the discovery of oil, a lot of infrastructure has been put in place. Roads have been constructed, of course, yes, for purposes of oil development. But Wananchi also use these roads and also use them to ensure that their goods access markets in Kampala and elsewhere. Developments came up, and it was one of the reasons that motivated me to begin building a hotel in Hoima, because it was not a very lucrative business at that time, but oil discovery encouraged me to invest in in a hotel. Generally, and now I'm thinking about more than hotel, now more than to think about hospitality, to get increased tourism in the area. So we seek opportunities, a lot, the development opportunities for Hoima district, Bunyoro region have never been greater compared to today. A lot of budgetary resources are committed to rural development, and all that money is beginning to impact the status of Hoima as which was formerly a town council changed. When I was member of parliament of the place, it was a municipality. I was the last serving member of parliament for Hoima municipality. It turned into a city during our time. It is now Hoima city. Almost every bank in Uganda has a presence in Hoima. So all this is changing the prospects of development of the region because of oil discovery. And if the process of oil development could be quickened, the growth of Hoima will also move faster. And tapping into these opportunities becomes now the issue. People don't know how to tap into these opportunities. I have written 3 papers with others on the opportunities associated with oil discovery. One of them talks about the Dutch disease effects, the likely effect, how the discovery of oil can turn into a curse. And he advises on ways on where the government should invest money following oil discovery. And I hope those that are active in the sector are picking lessons from some of these writings. Another paper looks at managing public expectations following oil discovery and how the people can benefit from oil discovery. Many countries, when they discover oil, they acquire a certain level of, if I may so call it, arrogance. They no longer want to listen to wisdom. They think now they have the money, they can do the right things and cause the development. In the end, the development becomes elusive. Oil becomes a curse instead of a blessing. So those 3 papers of mine point to ways we can avoid turning oil discovery into a curse. It should be a blessing because it is a good thing to discover a resource. But there are tendencies of people abusing it, allocating resources badly, or even fighting over oil, and forgetting about investing in other things, non-oil sectors, like agriculture, like manufacturing, services, the ones we're talking about. So those papers point to and warn that Uganda should not miss this opportunity. Sometimes I worry when I hear what is being said for the oil sector, but we have achieved a lot. The country is expecting also to benefit a lot from oil discovery. Many foreign companies have come in with their monies, but we have to make sure that we enter into very good agreement so that we don't lose out. The people themselves on the ground may not be very ready, because people think they can benefit, they should benefit directly from oil proceeds. That may not be possible. It is identifying opportunities that are associated with higher inflow of people into the area, build hotels for them, prepare to transport them, build restaurants for them, and higher numbers, take advantage of higher numbers of people and improve the infrastructure in the area to actually improve your own lot. So, and that's what I for one, I'm trying to do. Rather than thinking that I will directly get oil money. The improved status, the changed status of Hoima. Hoima, I'm talking about Hoima because it is the regional center of Bunyoro. There are others, but Hoima is where the king sits. So it is the regional center, and by coincidence, the epicenter of oil discovery is in that district. So it is a huge challenge, and it is one of the key things the NRM government has been able to achieve in these 3 decades. As an educationist, a lot has been achieved, especially when the private sector was allowed to participate in the provision of education. A lot was achieved, and it still continues to be achieved. But the key message I would want to give on education is to use knowledge of Ugandans, to trust Ugandans, to bring them on board in decision making. Because sometimes our knowledge gets discounted. Even when we're educated from the same classrooms in the West, same classrooms, then our over-dependence on aid makes us trust foreigners more than the locals and offer the locals less opportunity. Actually, locals make it through haggling. We have been haggling, and if we are nurtured, we are used as a lot that is educated and know our country better, would be. So education is not enough, but how to utilize that education. Utilize the educated people. And that is still elusive because of donor dependence, and I'm worried that education seems not to be taking a new turn, much as the ideas advanced to change our curriculum drastically, the cost notwithstanding. We need to examine these things very well. Yes, there is an orientation. We know that there is unemployment, and the thinking is that unemployment is because of a wrong curriculum. To some extent, yes, but we should also remember that unemployment is also happening because the job creators are inadequately supported. The job creators, those who are people like me who are creating jobs, we are inadequately supported. We get a very expensive credit. Sometimes we get unfair policies impacting on our businesses, and we may not be able to employ the numbers we may need, even if they were well trained. So it is unemployment is not only a supply side issue, it is also a demand side issue. The ability of employing institutions to keep absorbing these people, and I think our economy, regarding economic management, we need to squarely move to that. We are obsessed with ideologies from our development partners without actually putting them into a proper context. We all know inflation is bad, for example. Inflation is bad. I also don't like it. But demand managing policies are supposed to be short-term lived policies. They are supposed to be short-term lived. But when you apply demand managing policies, squeeze money for a long time, you stifle businesses, and that's what has happened. You kill you cause unemployment. So this ideological, always we control inflation. We should know there are beneficiaries and losers. Recently, we have had a spat of inflation being caused by scarcity following bad times of COVID. Scarcity was the cause of the inflation. Now, for somebody to tighten monetary money in such circumstances, you can only worsen scarcity and perpetuate inflation. The Constitution requires you as a central bank to manage monetary policy in a manner that will cause development, address unemployment, by creating jobs, making people keep jobs. But so far we don't see these things happening because we seem to have been trapped into an ideology that doesn't serve us well. An ideology, monetary policy is ideological, highly ideological, and it should be handled very carefully because there are sensitive players there. I congratulate His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the NRM party, of which I'm a member, for the achievements. We look forward to consolidation of these achievements, some of which I've alluded to, especially on macroeconomic management. And I appeal to those that want to enjoy Western Uganda to come, because now the place is open with infrastructure. There is beautiful, in Maxon Falls you have waterfalls, beautiful landscape as you go down the lake, very beautiful, very nice places to see. And when you come, please have a night at Great Summit Hotel. As families relocate to Hoima and you're looking for very good schools, Mandela SS Hoima is purely boarding school for both boys and girls. So you are encouraged to join the school for your child, so that we build this country together and we continue giving Ugandans jobs. And on the macroeconomy, we appeal to whoever has the powers to reduce the cost of doing business. Cost of doing business, that's what will create jobs. The onus is on us to actually entrench the independence that we have so far enjoyed. Thank you very much.